Welcome back, everybody. Automotive Inc. So today we're going to actually introduce my wife's car. If you guys recall, a while back, this is a while back in November of 24, maybe in just a little bit before that, she was looking at trading in her 23 Hyundai Tucson. And not because it was a bad car, but because it had stinky leather. And so after all of that, we looked at several different cars. She'll talk about that here in a second. But we're finally ready to show it because a lot of people have been asking what she ended up with, because there's not just truck people on my channel, there's other people because we do everything automotive, and this was a good shot to do it. Before we get started, please smash the subscribe button, helps a small channel out, thumbs up and notification bell. So without further ado, here she is. All right, here is my beautiful wife, and she's ready to introduce her new car. So what did you end up purchasing?
I got a 2025 Nissan Rogue Platinum,
Okay.
I believe.
And what drew you to this car after driving the Equinox, the Subaru Forester, the Hyundai Tucson, and everything?
In all reality, this had everything I was looking for. It has the beautiful white. I was originally looking for a black top, but this white is just so pretty, I was fine with it. It has my brown interior, which I'm obsessed with. Love, love, love this interior. It's got full leather seats. And it has an updated system, which I was looking at the Rock Creek version. Right now, the Rock Creek version doesn't have an updated system. It has Nissan's old system in it. However, if it did have the updated, I would probably be driving that. I love the rugged look of that one. Other than that, it's got great gas mileage, great power. The Equinox did not have, so this one had really great fuel economy. In fact, it's kind of like a test that I do, or a little challenge that I do. Every time I shut off the car, I want to see if I got even better than I did before. My highest fuel economy in here is 38 miles to the gallon. And that was like an hour drive too. So it was mixed between highway and neighborhood. I was really ecstatic about it. The Equinox did not really fare well on that. Plus it had a really crummy radio, which I know is not the only thing in the car, but you like to listen to your tunes. So aside from the interior, I loved these rims. These rims were absolutely gorgeous. I like the update that Nissan did. It has a more boxy front end, which I really, really liked. It's not all chrome, which in Colorado is nicer to not have all chrome, because when you have chrome, what is that stuff on the road?
Mag chloride.
Yeah, that eats at our chrome, and then it makes it look really awful, and it's harder to replace. But, I like the white cars. So we have all of this. It has a 4-door system, but even the back seat, which is perfect. We're down to like one kid actually riding in the car. But if you look at the doors, they open to a 90-degree angle. They still have these lovely shades that I like, or actually that Isaac likes. The brown interior's back there. They're heated seats back there, and it's a tri-zone, so he can actually control his temperature here. Has all the plugins, but they're all went away from like regular USBs to just a USB-C. So that was kind of a change. However, Nissan gives you a cute little pack of new charging cords, so I liked that. And then coming to the back here, I love the boxy back end that they've kind of done with this. This has a decent-ish, if you consider my husband's truck, no, that's not decent. Decent sized back end. You have to be very careful when you load things in though. This also has that, I don't know if I can do it now because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so when you put your foot under, you can do the kick, and it's supposed to open up your back end. There's not a way to shut that off, because I can tell you when I load my groceries in, being as short as I am, I accidentally put my feet under there, and I have hit my head a couple times as that comes down on me. So just be aware of that. This has the double, what do you call this?
It's a storage compartment underneath it.
Yeah, so it's got the double storage compartment. It fits quite a bit of stuff. We got my shopping bags and all of that for that first section. And then this section, which it is all one section, got all my stuff in there, but you can see kind of like just fits tons of stuff, just stuff I'd like to have with me. I do kind of wish it had the full pickup thing to hide the storage, just because I've noticed this, you can see if you put anything heavy on it, it kind of bows it. And I feel like if it was the full one, it wouldn't really do that. It'd be more sturdy. And they do kind of they snag on each other, which is a little bit interesting. I haven't yet used the cool thing where you can make it as like a divider. I haven't really needed to use that. But other than that, I love this. We bought this extra on top of that just so I can kind of bring it out. This was just an extra purchase. We did this on Amazon. Totally easy, cheap, and it looks nice, which I really like. So we have that in there. Yeah. So overall, I like the storage in the Nissan Rogue. The back I haven't got to play with too much. Play with their 2-tier system. And the Equinox and the Tucson had more room in there, and I didn't even think the Forester did. I'm not really sure. But I really do like it. I can lay both my seats down really flat, and it just creates more storage, which we're gonna try and practice next weekend with our next trip. But overall, the storage in here is pretty good.
Yep. And now that we're inside the car, this is really kind of where Nissan really can set the stage. Even in their most basic one, they use some zero gravity seats and stuff. She's going to talk about some of the great things that she likes about this car, because again, we did drive the Honda, the Subaru, the Equinox. Seemed like we drove a lot of different cars, and even lesser trims than this, like the Rock Creek and everything. But Nissan really does have a nice interior to be in. I mean, we haven't ran a decibel meter in here, but the stock tires are good. They're not overly road noisy for being a 20-inch.
Yeah.
The seats are exceptionally comfortable. Very, very sharp looking seats, especially with this brown.
Love this brown.
And so some of the things that kind of drew her to this, we've made mention this in the Equinox video and everything. The Chevy Equinox didn't have an upgraded stereo. You couldn't upgrade it. It is what it was. Beautiful layout, but it was really we like music, and it was really kind of a sad quality when it came to the sound quality.
Like really sad. I couldn't even put up with it. It was sad.
Yeah, so this one, it does have a good basic system. Even the Rock Creek had a good system in it. This one is the Bose, so it does have the upgraded as an option, if you will. Now, being a Platinum, there's only a couple more little nuances you can add to the Platinum, which would be the self-autonomous driving for 2025. And, you know, I like the joy of driving, and frankly, sometimes the safety tech can be kind of crazy. But, you know, at the end of the day, this one has the heads up.
Which is my first time ever having a heads up. I've never had one. I thought they were too intrusive. But this one, you could lighten it so it's not like overly bright, which, I mean, it's darkened even with my sunglasses. But you can also lower it and like move and decide what you would like on it, which right now I have my speedometer, the speed limit sign, and our GPS. So that's kind of cool. I actually kind of love it now.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to have your information right in front of you and not have to look down or distract yourself because there is other things going on. And if she was to change the channel, I think it tells you the radio station.
Oh yeah, it does. It does. When I change the channel, especially with the hand controls that they have, it just tells me the radio station, and then it'll flash the song if it's...
Right, and there's nothing sticking up. If you've seen the Ford Escape, it has this little piece of plexiglass looking stuff that's part of the actual mechanism of it, and it's kind of sticking up. This is laid down nice, good visibility out that, so having the heads up there is super nice. One thing you made mention of in several other cars, and I'm not sure why manufacturers do it, but when they go to these all digital gauges, they put the speedometer on the left in almost 90% of them. And
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, in Loki R24 Ford, the speedometer is all digital, but it's on the right. But everything else is on the left, the speedo, and the right's the tach. So she really enjoyed having that. And now she's getting on the highway, and now we can talk about one of the other reasons why she got rid of the Hyundai, which was nice car,
yeah,
decent fuel economy, but lacking.
Oh yeah, that was a turbo.
Yeah, so.
Which I love, and I'm still get really great gas mileage even though I got a turbo.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy the fuel economy that this thing gets, because it, even though, however they do it with the power delivery, the CVT and stuff, and hate or love CVTs is not even a thing in this. The CVT is actually really linear, really smooth. Is the fact that it gets such good fuel economy all the time, and in the city, which you typically get lower. The other day I was driving to the gym and I got over 40 miles a gallon in town. So it is something with the power, but it is a very good power delivery. You love that. And the engine has a nice little growl when you're really digging into it, but the rest of the time it's really quiet in here.
Yeah, it really is very, very quiet in here. I'm about ready to set my cruise control. Maybe. Yes. There I am. I think I did not set it.
Now you gotta turn the Smurf button.
I kind of set it.
I call the little blue button in Nissan's the Smurf button because it helped my mom, because it's the color of a Smurf, knowing where you got to turn that on. But as we segue from the power delivery and stuff, we can also talk about the safety tech, the Smurf button. So this does have the Copilot 360, and then, or whatever they call it, ProPilot Assist. The other one's from Ford, I think. And so there is one level up, which gives you a semi-autonomous driving or almost autonomous driving. You do have to have some input. But there's some of the vehicles we rode where the safety tech was not only lagging, but sometimes could be really aggressive.
Yes, I did not like that.
And this one does pretty good. I will tell you that depending on how they paint the lines and how it's picking them up, sometimes the lane keep assist, where it keeps you it'll help self-correct the steering. It can be aggressive. I haven't played with the system much. She's had the car for a little bit, but I haven't really played with it to see if there's a way to turn down the sensitivity. But
there is.
Overall, it's really good safety tech. Is it the best? I don't know, because we've had a broad range of it, and none of them are all the same. So I guess it's lighter input on the steering wheel does help if it's doing the lane centering. But
I will tell you, it's not the worst. So I don't know if it's the best, but it's definitely not the worst. When I get in and out of my lanes, usually without the Smurf button on, it vibrates my steering wheel, which is really cool, because then it's not an obtrusive noise and it's not like always happening. I'm saying I drive in the lines, but when you got your cruise control on, you've got your adaptive cruise going, you can pick your lanes. But if you kind of weave in and out, it makes, let's see if I can do it. Oh, nope, it's still vibrating. Okay, well, maybe it was just going to vibrate. Usually it tells me I'm out of it by giving me a couple of beeps. But this time it vibrated my steering wheel. And I don't know if it's just because I went on like a lane that was almost ending. So that could be why.
yeah. So if you guys are interested in safety tech in your next vehicle, make sure you turn it all on within the systems. Check the sensitivity of it, and kind of play with it when you're out test driving these things, because if you don't like a lot of safety tech and it gives the option of turning it off, then you can still love the car, but you don't have to use the safety tech. Or if it's aggressive, at least you'll know way ahead of time.
Nikes, this guy's
So we are driving here in Colorado, so as always, the roads are always busy and they always suck. So as we cruise through here, yeah, you can see right here that this is the new system here for 2025 in the up trim models versus the 2025. What was the other one? The Rock Creek. It had the smaller 8-inch screen. Just the old, the old interface. So I mean, this is nice. It's lower down. It's obviously Google based, so it does a good job with most of the stuff. They do give you some redundant knobs, or I guess not redundant. The only way to run your HVAC down here is the knobs and buttons, which is nice.
I love.
Yeah, and Nissan vehicles put out a lot of air without putting out a lot of noise. So HVAC efficiency is really good. Initially getting used to this, she thought she wouldn't like this. Her other one was just push buttons in the Hyundai. Now she's used to it, and you don't mind it at all.
Actually, no, I like it quite a bit. It's sometimes I forget where the park is, because the park's a button, and everything else is like moving forward, back, that type of thing. It's not exactly a shift, but it's an actual button. And I-25 is jacked up. For a while.
Yep, as always, right? But they do good. The wireless charger down there does really well. It's hard to get used to where the start button is, but after a while it's pretty easy. Tons of storage compartments and good sized glove box. You get a thing here that's nice for especially people that are shorter and have this up. Having this open like this, you can actually get into it without having to flip the lid and then reach way back into it. So it is a nice little setup they have here. And again, you can close one side or the other if you need to get in there. So overall, again, this vehicle was for her, so I wanted her to make sure she had everything. And again, one of it had to be the color, the shape of the body, the interior color. She wanted this brown. And you know, I think it's weird because when we were younger, and maybe you guys can agree on this, but everybody wanted a black interior. Because remember back in the 90s, they had bright blue and bright red and tan. And I was like, wow. But as I get older, I actually like it. It's easier on my eyes. It's just a nice breakup.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was more of it was everything about what she wanted because she's a seller. If you guys know, I do trucks, so I'm always seeming to get a new truck so we can test them and run them. But she's a person that wants to hold on to it. We've had Nissans before. My parents bought a 23 Pathfinder after I had my 22. They've had zero problems with it. It's a great truck, but she wasn't looking for something that big anymore. And so just the little changes they did on the outside with the 25 or the 24, adding the new tech in the 25 was nice.
And making it boxier, I really liked that.
Yeah, they made a few angles a little bit more sharper out there. So it was a very nice twist on it. Price point wise, I think this is right up there with everything else in its class when you're going to get to the up trims. And one thing you have to realize, in some of the up trims of other manufacturers like the Equinox, you can't get an upgraded stereo. You can't get, say, power seat or lumbar on one side or the other. So there's nuances to check on those trims, especially if you're passengers or you need those specific things. And this one kind of just checked all of our boxes. Yeah. So, you know, at the end of the day, we're going to have a ton more content on this. We're going to go over a lot of the features. Eventually, I'll give you my 2 cents, but you've had it since, she corrected me, since December. And she's got about 2,000 miles on it. Don't drive a ton, but overall, are you happy with the purchase?
Oh, absolutely.
Of this over the other ones that you were looking at in the class?
I'm very happy with the purchase. Nissan offered a really cool interest rate, which is something that I was looking for. I don't want to be paying 8% interest on something. So with that added to this, I mean, it's a great car. I love all the tech in there. I mean, like you said, I kind of got to have what I like. So I'm comfortable driving and all of that. So that part's really super awesome. I love it.
All right, guys. Well, like I said, we're going to have a ton more content on this, so make sure you subscribe. If you have a specific question about this vehicle or potentially the Rock Creek or tech inside of it, drop a comment down below. We will get back to you. More than likely, I'll bring her in because she's had a lot more time to play with this car. I've driven this car. I really like this car, but eventually I'll get back to, you know, my thoughts on it. But if you have something specific you want to ask her a question about, make sure that you mention that below, and we will make a video on it and make sure you address it with you. And if you just like her because she's pretty on the channel, we can bring her back just for that too. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. We're going to catch you on the next one.